What's up, team? Welcome to the video. What you're about to watch is a longer video. It's an interview that I did with my buddy Drew, who he's an influencer marketer. He does modeling, he's in the fashion space, and we talk about a lot of interesting things around influencer marketing, about his current fitness goals and like what he's trying to accomplish and going from 12-13% body fat down to 8% body fat. And the other super interesting thing I like is around the concept of the first minute of your day and thinking when making decisions, how am I going to feel tomorrow in the first minute of my day if I do this? Like, am I going to regret eating this? Am I going to feel bad? Am I going to feel bad about this decision? Like, thinking of future you in that way. It's we're running it raw, so we're leaving everything. We're not editing. Super interesting. If you don't have time to watch it now, watch it during cardio, listen on a commute. But yeah, sit back, relax, hit the like button, enjoy the video. See you tomorrow.
Ready when you are.
What's up, team? Are we on road or?
Yeah, I was down this.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take this off. We don't need this for the rest of the day. I got interviewed right before this by this dude who they make content for high school students on what job options exist.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job if they interviewed you then.
Just like they talk to an artist, they talk to someone who works at the UN, all over. And
my high school keeps trying to get me to come in and when I'm home.
Give a talk.
Talk about just unconventional.
And you're small town, right?
Yeah, 5,000.
Where are you from?
Maine. But
oh, okay. Yeah.
Like an hour. In
this is perfect. All right, so let's give us a little background.
From a small town in Maine.
Where they want you to come speak at your high school.
Yes. And I went to a semester at my state school and realized it just wasn't for me. I left.
What were you going to study?
I was originally in this this tech program, and I got in a week, and I was like, there's no way I can. Can I not swear?
No, you can swear.
Okay. You bleep some, right?
I bleep because I get messages saying people watch with their kids and 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids. Yeah, you can swear.
And so I left, and so I was doing this tech. I got in a week, and I was like, there's no way I can do this. I don't want to code. I don't want to. It's not how my brain works.
Yep.
So I started taking these random classes that I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. So I took nutrition. I took a public speaking class.
Nice.
I took some marketing classes, and none of those which fit into a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I love public speaking.
This
I love
is
marketing.
what I'm interested in.
Yeah, exactly. And so I ended up leaving. Thanksgiving, I called my mom. I was like, yo, listen, I'm out.
You're 18 at the time.
18. And
was she pissed?
No, not at all. She was both my parents. My dad was stoked, and my mom was like, we fully support this decision. Just know that this is the harder route. So if you're gonna...
What'd you tell them when you're like, I want to drop out
Well, so part of the issue is that right before I was going to school, I couldn't decide what I wanted to major in. Like most 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And at the time, I actually remember that I was sitting with my mom in the kitchen, and she's like, what do you like? Let's start there. And the only thing I could think of was...
That's a hard question.
Yeah. I was like, basketball, chicks, Cheerios. But then I was like, you know what? Fashion stuff has always been something that's interesting. I've always liked to look good, and so I had that, but I was going to a school that was nothing fashion related. So I was like, so I would literally find myself designing clothes on my notebook, in my sociology class, which I liked, but I just couldn't sit in a class.
That's where your mind was.
Is what it came down to.
Yeah.
And so I left 2 weeks into December after my finals were done, and I took a family. My aunt had a family friend who just bought a portion of a clothing company in Atlanta. I was like, there's the lead. So I went out to Atlanta for a little bit, did some design stuff, did some marketing stuff, and then over the next year I was popping between marketing gigs because I realized okay, here's something I like to do. Mm-hmm. It's social, it's creative, or advertising. And then I landed this internship, another fashion internship in Rhode Island. And that's actually what introduced me to Instagram, the social space. So they're a company called Kyle James Patrick, and they make like these like lifestyle.
You weren't posting on Instagram then?
No, I was like, this is spring of 2014, and I was one of those guys that looked at great Instagram accounts, and I was like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And I would try and like.
Because your Instagram's insane.
It's like now, right?
Yeah, but like your photo quality. Since we've been following each other, and like I've been following you almost a year-ish.
Yeah.
You just post really good stuff. Yeah, bro. High quality pictures coming from someone who like sucks at it.
Well, what's funny is that you really like outside looking in. I had no idea how to execute that, and that's what was great about that internship. It wasn't just fashion, but they did all of their marketing on Instagram. Really, like that was like 90% of it. It was like, let's sell this lifestyle, presented incredibly from like an aesthetic point of view.
Yep.
And if someone buys into that, they'll buy a bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the strategy.
Yeah.
And so like you don't only learn like how to market on Instagram, which is totally untraditional and something you're not going to learn at a school anyway, but also specifically in the fashion space, like click to buy. And then and also like how to use a camera and how to like create something that looks consistent in a feed. So it was really like if I didn't have that, I would still I think be like, how are these Instagrammers doing it? Yeah. So I left that internship and I was like, man, this is a lot of fun. How do I continue this momentum? Kept posting. Wasn't I didn't have a camera though. Like my quality definitely went down. And worked like a on the phone marketing gig. Worked actually for my best friend who's a personal trainer. Did some of his marketing stuff. And then a year later, I was back working with the same crew that I interned with the summer prior. We're in Nantucket, met a couple random dudes. They invited me to this party at the end of the month back in Nantucket. Pretty much like if you get here, like come and have fun, like everything's cool. And everyone there was from New York. So, which was always, I would say more of a pipe dream.
You gotta come.
Yeah. Just like very encouraging of like if you want to do something.
Where's your Instagram at this time? Like, are you posting a few times a week?
Yeah, I'm like posting, but it's all iPhone stuff. It's all like
a couple thousand followers.
I probably had like 7,000.
Okay.
Before New York,
which is a good amount.
Which is like I probably left the internship with 5. So I was probably at 1,000 before the internship. Gained 4 that summer.
Yeah, just by like posting a lot on your personal.
Part of the gold in the internship was their company account was also a bit of like a personal account because it was the company's Kyle James Patrick, the person's Kyle James Patrick. So that was where the strategy like overlapped. And so you would get tagged in his stuff on his page, which would then shoot back to your personals.
So
you'd have this
the pictures of you were getting you new audience.
And not only a new audience, but it was you're posting the exact lifestyle that they're following this account for. So like the second they go to your profile, it's exactly what they want to see.
Got it.
So which is just like a stream of new face, new
who are already interested in like what you're about.
Exactly. So we and then once I left
trendy
that,
white pants with hole in the bro,
basic.
I might need you. Is that basic? I don't know. I think I might bring Drew on for Mike's merch as a consultant.
Oh, I would love that.
Awesome.
OTR.
Yeah. All right. So post.
So post internship 2,000.
Everyone's from. New
I'm
York.
at like 7,000 probably. Everyone's from New York, and I just got along with the guys so well that when I was leaving, and New York was a pipe dream. Like Boston was the goal.
Yeah.
Like being from Maine, like you think Boston is like you getting out of Maine.
Yeah.
New York was was what I would think about, but like I was
felt
like,
out of reach.
Like is that really realistic?
Got it.
Met these dudes, and one of the guys was just like, yo, if you when I was leaving, was like, yo, if you need a place to stay, like in couch surf, like come crash in my spot, like I have a couch for you and you can find an apartment. So I was like, okay. 2 weeks later, I couch surfed with him in like my second time in New York ever. 2 weeks after that, I found an apartment in Chelsea, moved in, and it's been, semi-smooth sailing since.
It's awesome.
But dude, New York in terms of like skills, assets, for me, it's all about like networking, meeting people.
Yeah.
And
That's where your skill set
yeah.
is.
I mean, I met you at Joe and the Juice.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike,
Yeah.
what's up, man?
Yeah, you're like, I recognize you from Gary's Snap.
And that only happens here, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
those type of relationships, like, the people you want to meet are
Just
here.
those run-ins. And
everyone's in the
Yeah.
same rat race, the same grid.
Yep.
And that's part of the...
Tell me about the first brand deal. Or like, when was the first time that a company paid you money to post something?
Yeah, of course I remember. It was, I did, because it was insane.
Yeah.
It was with Vince, fall of 2015. Before I got a part of like the GQ community.
Yep.
And they paid me like some money for a crazy amount of deliverables, like 16 photos edited, like 3 different outfits, like, and at the time though I was like, this is insane, like some free clothing. Yeah, which
you were
is
just ecstatic.
Dude, I was so stoked, and then was like, how do I deliver this? Like, all I have is my iPhone. So then I had a friend that, like, she was a great photographer, got her involved, she shot it. And then, but the big thing about it was that GQ picked me up. And part of the game of, like, becoming an influencer is like, really, like, PR agencies becoming familiar with you. So there's a lot of people who are, like, have a bigger following than me, but like just haven't established themselves that, like, yes, if you bring me a brand deal that is on brand with my own personal brand, this is something that I'm interested in. And the second you start to get on those PR lists and like people are like, oh, Drew, he likes men's fashion and travel. So anything that applies to those things, and they approach the right agency that I'm familiar with, that's when my inbox gets deals into it.
Got it. Makes sense. What do you mean got in with GQ? Like modeling for GQ?
So GQ, they have this like GQ Insider program where it's pretty much just like they scour Instagram for guys who post things related to menswear. And it's honestly not that big of a deal, but it like gives brands like a sense of reassurance that like this like pretty much the head of menswear, like, validates in terms of exactly.
Yeah.
And so once I became a part of that and people saw that like GQ gave me the nod, that's when like things started to
you were
pick
like
up.
Established.
Right. Even though like I wasn't getting anything through them necessarily, like I didn't get my first GQ deal until a year later. That was huge.
Makes sense. So what, like right now, posting really good content.
Yeah.
And like side note, because the cynicism of my audience has increased since I started doing poker stuff, because poker players are naturally just like, one, smart, and like being smart is often a bad thing. And two, just like a different kind of human being.
Yeah.
Like you're an attractive dude, so Instagram is like a place that makes sense. Everyone has a strength. Like everyone has something you're good at. I, without any practice historically, can write very well. And I get thousands and thousands of hits on my website for not putting that much time and energy into it. Like trying different shit. I just want to pour water on whatever like little fire may be of like, cool, this guy's like a 9.5. Like, what should I do?
Right.
You know?
I mean, honestly, like I was like I was no one prior to understanding Instagram.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and
whatever,
a million things go into it. Like photo quality above all.
That's what I was.
Something
That's what I was
realized.
gonna say. Is that like I didn't really gain momentum until I bought a camera, learned that.
Started posting consistently.
Right, editing, learned that. And there's a real consistency, like not only to posting, but also to like what people can expect from your content. So, like for me, I'm selling something of a lifestyle, but like the way it's presented is that like every green in my photos are tinted the same way. Every shadow, every piece of contrast, you know what I mean? It's all,
and that's the stuff
everything
where I'm
looks
like, your
the same.
Instagram's so sick, but I don't know why. Like I don't know all those details.
It's just
but that's what leads to it.
And like yes, you can have and this is the same thing, especially with how quickly iPhones are becoming enough to like take a good photo with.
Yeah.
But like you can take a good photo, but can you consistently do it?
Yeah.
And so I think I was like every once in a while taking a great photo, but that wasn't creating a following. So it came to this like process of like learning composition, how to take a great photo, how to edit it, and then have everything. So like if someone sees my photo on a Discover page and is like, oh, that's a cool photo, and then they go to my feed and they see that I post,
all of his photos are cool.
like right. It's just, but I always say you're selling a feed, you're not selling a photo.
That's so interesting.
And that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And it's been working
Lessons
a little
from
bit.
Drew on Instagram. I need to take these to heart. I'm so inconsistent. Seriously, like inconsistent in posting frequency, but also in like what I want to be doing with it.
But there's
It's
also
giving me good stuff to think about.
But there's a strategy to doing that, but also still keeping it ethical, because it's really easy to go the other way, or taking a photo of something not because you want to, but because you know that people will want to see it.
Yeah.
But it's like there's like a mental emotional game to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'm doing this for myself. This is, eventually it becomes an art form, and you're like, this is my art form.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to keep it
pure.
Exactly.
You want to do it for the art. You don't want to do it like.
Yeah, and I don't for example, I could easily pick a cool car in New York that isn't mine, that's parked on the side of the road, some Maserati. Right, and you know how they do it, and but it's not my car. I don't want to post with a car that isn't mine, but it'd be so easy.
And that would get reach in the Explore tab.
It would be so easy.
Yeah.
So there's a real, and you have to get to this point where you're like, you know what, likes don't matter that much. Following doesn't matter that much.
This is a good segue. Give me long game, long term, what you want.
I want to. I want to do something positive for sure, and I want to start it start it the right way and finish it the right way, and have that whole process in between. Be sleeping well while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Specifically, I don't know where I want, what I want to do, what I want to affect, but ultimately it's just there's things that matter way more than Instagram, but if Instagram can propel me to a place where I can have a bigger audience to help affect the things that are smaller than that,
and important to you at that time.
Exactly. We just my buddy got this meeting that I attended with him at Charity Water, and
dope.
That shit is what puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
These massive photos of 5-year-old girls that they've never known clean water, and it's so easy to get
we
caught
didn't
up
talk
in
about this water thing either. It's something that's been on my mind a lot.
It's
downtown, right? That's where the rooms are.
Yeah, and dude, it's that's one of those. That was one of the first times in my life where I was I could toss it Instagram to the side and go work this 9 to 5 and know that I'm having a crucial, I'm playing a role in something important.
Impact.
But that's how I look at my Instagram though. I'm doing this for 8th grader good.
Mm-hmm.
More so than I don't, because honestly you got to get to this point where you don't care about bullshit fame or I don't want to be famous for people liking
for the sake of being famous.
Me posting with a car I don't own.
Yeah.
It's not fulfilling at all.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to, is what's going to fulfill you.
Yeah.
But the likes feel good for a moment. They do. And the following feels good. It definitely does. You get this false sense of something.
Yeah. But I feel that's why I went off Instagram for a while. It's just
Dude,
that.
It needs a match. Yeah. And
it's hard.
I do that too.
Everyone's susceptible to it.
Yeah. Dude, it's
all right. So transitioning again, you're going to be doing work with a certain brand where you need to be leaner, basically.
Yeah. So I
botched that. The part I know is that you need to be leaner.
So yeah, here's the deal. I try and stay in good shape regardless, because my life is consistently posted on this, and I want to.
And if your life wasn't consistently posted, I have a feeling you wouldn't.
That's so true. I definitely feel a bit more pressure to do it, but I would want to do it regardless. And I'm a pretty historical, clean eater, and consistently at the gym and pounding pavement and doing those things. But I've never really been able to get to a low enough body fat percentage to where I'm like, go to the beach and I'm like, I'm the man. You know, I feel good. I'm like, I look better than him.
Like
but
abs,
like,
abs.
right.
Yeah.
And so I was originally, when I first came to New York, I was doing some modeling stuff and I was leaner. Then I got into like more of the Instagram stuff, which was just paying better, and fulfilled me more creatively. And but now I can do more modeling as myself, like direct, like castings and stuff like that. But I have to get to a certain place where like I'm versatile for anything.
Yeah, which means like 4 to 5% lower body fat.
Yeah. I got it. Like 8 would be ideal, I think. Like I don't want to go crazy. 8 and 8's shredded.
Yeah.
Like that's like what you are.
Yeah.
And he looks alright, right? So.
Give me. Some people like to know height and weight right now.
Yeah, I'm like 6'2", probably 174.
Okay.
So I also don't have a lot of muscle on my frame based on those.
Yeah. Yo, you were bulking when we last hung out, right? You were.
I was like trying to do and I do this thing where I'm like, you know what, I want to put on more muscle.
Every guy. 3 weeks into it.
And then I'm like, okay, I look disgusting. I want to be skinny.
I want to be leaner, yeah.
And then I like sabotage any gains I've made by like fasting and then not eating.
That's a psychological conversation topic in and of itself that is insanely common.
Yeah.
Having more muscle isn't something that you need or want right now, though.
No. I
like in the immediate future, you would value
prioritize leanness over muscle bulk for sure.
Cool.
And it's just more applicable to my current lifestyle.
Do you think? Because you were telling me, like, you're a smart dude. You're in the 1900 to 2100 calorie range. Historically, you keep carbs lower because you feel better, and going higher carb, there might be a little bit of a mental block.
And it's just easier to be like, instead of be like, here are the numbers, here's exactly what it's just easier in my head as like I'm running around all day to be like, okay, here's protein, here's fat. I don't exactly know the numbers of it, but I'm not even gonna touch carbs. And like it's just that one piece, and instead of calculating everything. But then I like throw it in my on the regimen, like plug, and then
as a it's like a precursor to, if I don't eat that many carbs, I just know I'm gonna end up close to that 2,000.
Like the second I involve carbs, I'm like, okay, I gotta be on top of my shit.
Yeah.
And so when I don't do that, I'm like, okay, I have some
leniency. You naturally
leniency.
end up in the range you should.
Yeah, I'm like, I have some leniency. Like if I do end up at a dinner tonight, I won't feel terrible about being polite and eating what's there.
Okay, so what's your weight done in the last like 4 to 6 weeks? Or have you been like pretty on it? Or?
Yeah. I've been pretty on it, and I've been traveling a lot. And when I travel, I naturally like lose this weight that I can't lose when I'm in New York. I don't know what it is. Like
going out a lot here?
I don't actually go out that much. I don't know. It's very odd. But anytime I travel, I'm like, oh shit, I look way better than I look when I'm in Brooklyn. But
less stress when you're traveling?
I think that could be it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I'm like sleeping a little more and.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for me. Like even like getting under 11 is like.
So if you've been in the 1900 or 2100 calorie range, so there's two things. One, I might ask you to dial harder, meaning actually track anytime you eat and like be 100% sure that it's not like 5 out of 7 days you're tracking, but 7 out of 7 you're tracking.
Yeah.
The other thing is you have room to take calories a bit lower. Like it sucks, but if I ran your numbers, like 12% body fat, 174, like calculated lean mass, and saw where we're at, I'd be okay being more in the like 1750 to 1850 for 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Right.
Get that like last bit of body fat off, and then bring calories back up.
Yeah, no. And I would be interested in doing that. I think more so it was like, there's just so much information out there, you know, and I think most people get confused with like ketogenic, like carb cycling, like hit these numbers,
that works.
Right.
That works.
Exactly.
That works too.
Right. And so it's just a constant seesaw of like, reading one thing and being like, okay, 1750 is like where I should be at, and then reading another thing and be like, no, you gotta rev up your metabolism and you gotta be hitting it like 2300 and like, so 1750 is the goal. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I need the...
Do it. Just on that. And like, you know, if you have a dinner, if you have a night with a few drinks, and you can make a few drinks work, and like, you know, you don't need to be 100% on. Right. But being around there most days, and we talked about this earlier, you don't have a problem with like binge eating or like... No.
I've like gotten to the point where I don't really have cravings anymore. Like I if there's a piece of chocolate, like I'm not even tempted.
It's awesome.
Which it took me a long time because I have a terrible sweet tooth. But now I feel good. You know what I mean? It's just about knowing.
You know, you were the person who introduced to me the idea of, before making a decision, thinking about how will I feel tomorrow morning. Like, how will this make me feel? That has to play a role in that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely huge. And do they have any reference to this?
We've been talking about it. No, tell them like they don't.
Pretty much the idea of it is you're making decisions. It's called I'm gonna butcher it. It's called like the first minute of your day, like the psychology of it. So, and I think being human, everyone sort of goes through this. It's like you wake up in the morning and you're like, why did I do that thing the night before? And so for a while, for me, that was like getting home, getting comfortable, eating a bunch, like being on my stuff all day, and then cheating at night. And then I would wake up the next morning and be like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And so the whole idea is you're making decisions today for that first minute of you tomorrow. So and that's been
making him feel good.
And what's crazy about the psychology of it is it's not even making him feel good, but it's also like when you wake up and you feel good, that momentum for that next day is
it's
oh
why
my God,
it's probably
it lights a
partly
fire.
Why you used to crave sweets a lot more than you do right now.
Right. And also and I think this just depends on the person, but for me, I'm a lot better at setting those immediate goals. Like I'm still a long run person, but like I can like if it's 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, if you just get ready for bed and go to sleep, you're gonna be so much happier in the morning instead of having those like 3-month goals. Because when I get in that mindset, sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? I could eat this cake. I still have 2 months and 29 days left. Right, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So for me, that's just been huge for a lot of daily habits.
Yeah, not just nutrition.
Yeah, and exercise too. It's just and waking up, being like, I crushed it yesterday. I'm gonna crush it today. I'm gonna crush it tomorrow.
Yeah, it forces you to take care of yourself.
And you see changes. And it's
yeah. There's a podcast I'm going to link below that one of my clients actually sent to me that is similar to this, like thinking about even like treating future you as a different person and like treating that person well versus constantly being
what's
right now.
What's so interesting about it too is that I know I would like be on this 3-month, you know, I don't know why that number's in my head, but like, okay, if I'm going to set this 3-month goal and in 3 months I'm going to be like happy with that decision. And then I think about like, okay, say what if like right now
I was there.
Right. Or like right now was the end of those 3 months.
You would set another goalpost.
No, but like what I mean is that like, what am I saying? Clearly. Hardware.
We live? We are a one-take show. We just have battery restrictions, which makes sense. So continue that thought.
Pretty much the idea of it was that like, if today was the end of those 3 months that I set, I could never actually do it for 3 months. And I remember thinking like, wow, if I was actually able to accomplish that goal 3 months ago, I'd be feeling so much better about myself than I am right now. But knowing how drunk I got off margaritas on Saturday and like, you know what I mean? And all those things that have added up into this, like the 12-hour goal, that first minute is just like, I've hit my 3-month marker by thinking it from a daily perspective instead of thinking about it 3 months is 3 months.
It's manageable.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And the little check marks feel good. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
momentum's the game. just like
Get the ball
momentous
rolling.
habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then once you like take care of this little area or this little habit or this little thing, you can move on to something else to
Exactly.
make better. Yeah, it's awesome.
So,
How much time we got? This is fun, bro.
dude, I know I'm so.
So you gotta go soon.
We're good. We'll.
Let's see what else. What else we? Okay, so you're going down to 1750 to 1850.
Yeah.
Like, pretty. What are you doing with training right now? You're running because you're exploring Brooklyn.
I was doing this. I try and like mix it up, so, you know what I mean. So I was on this like 12-week plan that I
the
did.
one you showed me?
Yes, and I didn't love it, and then I started
a lot of volume.
a lot of volume. No, I liked it. I just didn't see the results I was expecting from it. So I think
Got it.
by that I'm saying I didn't like it, but I actually enjoyed the workouts.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
And the leg day was great, even though it was high volume. I had fun doing it.
Yeah, and I say that because I'm like soft when it comes to tons of volume. Like some people like volume. You and Johanna can train together.
I wouldn't even say that I'm like a high volume guy. There was something about it that wasn't necessarily excruciating like I was used to. I guess.
Part of the results thing, dude. You don't see results in a bulk.
I know.
Unless you're Benedict and you just assassinate life. But like
This is 4K over there.
visual results, like going from 12, 13 to 8% body fat is like, damn, like real results in not that much time.
Right.
Muscle gain results, if anything, you just look softer because you have like generally you have more carbs.
It was like an interesting plan though. It was like and I just don't think it was realistic to the lifestyle that I was prioritizing.
Mhm.
Because the plan was to lose fat but gain size in specific places.
Mhm.
So the carb cycle was like, for example, I was just going through like my sheet.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, I would love to like lose more fat, but I'd also love to gain some like bigger biceps.
Mhm.
And so on my
arm
arms
day, you were
day,
high
it was
calorie?
high calorie, higher carb.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was
That's
it
getting
was
technical.
yeah, and it was technicalities that I couldn't fulfill
Yeah.
based on prioritizing networking and social life and which is a good thing to know about myself at the same time.
Yeah.
Um,
Sidebar. I'm not like throwing under the bus whoever thought of that because it's kind of a cool concept. Muscle protein synthesis, 24 to 72 hours after training a body part. So like, that technically doesn't work. Basically, like you would have to go like high calorie on the arm day, and then
Right.
the next day on the next day.
Right.
But yeah.
See, yeah, that's why I'm he's the guy.
But like specific fat loss focus now.
Yeah, I don't. There's no reason for me to be any bigger. That was like one of those things where it was like,
Yeah.
I'm not fitting anyone else's mold. So based on my personal mold, this sounds like a good thing to accomplish.
You
And-
need a training program?
I need everything.
I think I can get you a training program. Yeah, baby.
Well, we can update this in a month.
Let's do it. How many days a week?
I like to just like if I could go every day and then like take Sunday off, that
Yeah.
would be ideal.
6 days a week training.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Um,
You like that moment? You're such a momentum guy.
I am, dude. I like to start my day with it, and mentally my whole day runs more efficiently if I have been to the gym.
Yeah.
Like mentally.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
like, I've done this, and then if you slip up, I'm like, food wise, I'm like, well, I did go ham
least
on
I
the
tried.
bed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's a
I'm
real,
getting some gains.
but
on
there's
these
a
calories.
positive, right? There's a positivity to it that I crave, and on a Sunday I like sleep late, and it's just
It's a chill day.
Yeah, it's perfect not to, because I like to do things intense,
Yeah.
and so that's just a great day to not do anything intense.
Monday to Saturday, we'll get it going.
So
1800. Yeah.
I love it, dude.
And we'll do an update in like 6 weeks.
And then
we'll throw your Instagram up too because it is just like.
plug.
I mean, I always plug, but it's just like it's well done. Like they're good pictures.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
For sure. Thanks for coming and chatting.
Dude, thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Mhm.
Thanks, Benedict.
Man. All right, bro.
Bro, pleasure, buddy.
That was impressive. That was a nice little clap.
Yeah, that was a great ending. All right.